Today we're taking a look at ASX listed stock Pilbara Minerals, ticker PLS, performing some technical analysis on them and making some predictions as to where we can see PLS go in the near future. Let's get into it. How's it going, guys? Ryan here and welcome back to another ASX stock analysis video. Today we're taking a look at Pilbara Minerals. Their ASX ticker is PLS and this is another lithium producer. They're based in Western Australia in the Pilbara region, and their main project is their Pilbara mine, which mines spodumene type lithium. So that's a hard rock type of lithium, and this is probably one of the best stories in the lithium space that we have seen over the past few years. I remember seeing this company back when I was in university, and it was sitting at about a value of 4 cents to 10 cents. This company has in recent times exceeded over $3 in value, which is an absolutely insane jump in value. And of course, it is now sitting at roughly about a $8.5 billion market cap at this point in time. So it's certainly been able to reap the rewards of not only the initial lithium run that we have seen as of recent times, it also was able to reap the rewards of the one prior to that in 2017 as well, where a lot of focus came onto it as one of the next up and coming lithium producers in Australia and Western Australia in particular. They did acquire one of their neighbours called Altura Mining as well. This was another company that I had followed quite closely, and this was a lithium company which unfortunately failed and weren't able to hold out due to cash issues over a period of a few years and loans and all that sort of stuff. So they acquired their projects as well and are now a real force to be reckoned with in the hard rock lithium space, especially within Australia. So I highly recommend you go and check the company out. They are incredibly promising, especially with the overall battery revolution that we are seeing at this point in time, and they are sure to be one of the leaders in the space moving forward. But today simply we are just checking out their chart, performing some technical analysis and making some predictions on where we can expect to see PLS go in the near future. So without any further ado, let's jump straight into today's analysis. Welcome into the PLS chart, guys. As you can see, we're currently sitting at a value of $2.79, having come down from our high over here on the 18th of January, which was at a value of $3.89. Now, as we zoom out, you can see that this has been a stock which has just consistently performed for an extended period of time, coming from basically a low here in March of 2020, and that low we're talking is quite literally around the 13 cent mark. So for a stock to basically be able to get up to $3.89 in the span of almost 2 years, that is pretty incredible. In fact, it's under 2 years, but that's not what we're here for. What we're here for is to make some predictions and perform some analysis. So first things first, what I really want to do is put in place a bit of a trend for this one right now. So I'm going to try to start the trend off from this point on the 5th of October and then move from there. As you can see right now, that sort of, I suppose, indicates to us that we've dropped out of the trend from that point in time. But I do suspect that if we pull things back slightly, maybe to, I'd suggest potentially even not that far, but maybe even back to this point in May of 21, and then try and smooth things out a bit. That, in my opinion, is significantly more accurate. And the reason being is we have a lot more touch points, as you can see, around here in December of 2021, a few bounces, and right now we're sort of touching that uptrend. We had a dip previously very quickly, a bounce back here in July of 21, and of course where we started back here in May of 21. So I think that is realistically quite a nice trend that we have seen put in place at this point in time. Now, we are currently sitting right on it, and the low of today was at $2.77, and that is right where that trend is sitting. We have concerningly seen a cross of the 20-day moving average below the 50-day moving average, showing that obviously, yes, we have been, since I suppose right here on the 18th of January, declining in value. And given that we have been moving upwards quite quickly, I can say that realistically, this is not something that I wouldn't expect to occur. Based on previous history of when this occurs, we saw this back in October of 21 where we had a cross again and we dropped to a low just after that point of $1.78, then promptly bounced back. If anything, history is one great thing to go by when looking at technical analysis, so I do suspect maybe we might see a little bit of a falter below this line a bit, but I do suspect that the trend overall is intact. As we know, lithium prices and demand are continuing to rise, and I do think that certainly that means we are in for, I suppose, a good run for the foreseeable future as a result. A few other key points I would like to highlight as well. What I can firstly see is a few gaps that have appeared in PLS's chart. And the main one for me, obviously, we've seen a few have closed and that sort of thing, as you can see over here back in the past. But the main one for me at this point in time is the gap that's sitting right here. And it was between the 11th and 14th of February. So obviously that's over a weekend. I'm going to put this one in place here and mark it out. That for me is a very important point. And the gap is from on the 11th of February, the low of the day was at $3.22. Then on the 14th of February, we saw a high of $3.17. So whilst it is only a small gap, it is a gap nonetheless. And typically when you're looking at charts, gaps have to close. Fortunately for us, this is a gap which is upwards for us from the current share price. So that indicates to me that the gap needs to close. Our overall trend has still held up, so that means more than likely we are going to see an increase in the value of this stock in order to close that gap. So that means basically we're likely to bounce off this line here and hopefully move towards the gap up here of about $3.22. So all in all, that is looking relatively positive. Now we've got a clear line of support here, but where is our resistance point? And that was going to obviously be for us our first sort of key target. So let's have a look. Firstly, I can see we've had a couple of bounces off this point, a bit of price action here, and previously this was sort of a little breakout point for us as well, and it's at $3.04. So I'm going to extend ourselves out over here because I think realistically this is the best point of resistance and the most price action that we have seen in recent history on a single value. So I do believe that the target at this point in time should be to get past that $3.04 mark after we do bounce, hopefully off this uptrend that we have seen here, which is currently sitting at $2.77. I'm expecting to see a bit of price action, something like that. Now, of course, with that 20-day moving average coming downwards, that may act as a point of resistance for us moving into the future, but we will deal with that when it does occur. Let's have a quick look at a few more indicators. RSI, I imagine this would have cooled off given that we've been moving in a downwards direction. You can see that when we were peaking previously at all-time highs, we were certainly in the overbought range. So a cool off was necessary, but we have now dipped all the way down as of today to 35.20 on the RSI. So I do believe it is time to see a bit of a reversal in that space. And I think not only obviously the cool off being required, but the ASX being down as well. And of course, war in Ukraine and that sort of stuff potentially happening with Russia is driving down the value of stocks significantly, which has helped to bring down the RSI and of course bring down the value of stocks across the market. So that is something I think we are going to see a reversal in soon, hopefully. Let's have a look at the MACD as well. Bringing that one up, you can see that the red period has extended for quite a long period of time. If we zoom out, you can see most of the time this is sort of about the average sort of span that we do see in an overall sort of red period, so nothing too surprising. I suppose it's just that the selling momentum is quite clearly a lot higher than the buying momentum. So all in all, what we want to look for is this 12-day EMA, of course, starting to come up and cross back above the 26-day EMA. I suspect if we do manage to bounce off this uptrend over here, we will see that occur. So look out for that one as we move into the future. So that sort of really wraps things up. What is my price target? Quite simply, it's going to be hit the $3.04 resistance and then target this point here where we have a gap, and that is going to mean we'll hit a value potentially of $3.22. That wraps up today's analysis on PLS, guys. I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments section below. Of course, if you did enjoy the video as well, make sure you do leave a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of this sort of content, hit subscribe and turn on those bell notifications. I'll leave it there for today, guys. I hope you have an awesome day. I'll see you next time. Cheers.